The indomitable Lions of Cameroon are en route to Qatar. Qatar, where they will have to defend their national colors during this year's World Cup. And we know that Cameroon will be participating for the 8th time in this competition. Last Wednesday in Yaoundé Omnisports Stadium, it was the director of the Civil Cabinet, His Excellency the Minister Samuel Vondo Ayolo, who actually presided over the farewell ceremony, a farewell match against the Reggae Boys that ended on a 1-1 tie. The flag was handed over by the minister to, of course, Vincent Aboubakar, the captain of the team. What are the chances of Cameroon in this year's competition? And then talking about the selection, equally we know that Michael Ngande has not been selected by Captain Rigaud, the coach of the national football squad. And many Cameroonians are very angry with the non-selection of Michael Ngande. What do you think about the situation? Well, yeah, on the panel we have men of substance. They'll be telling us more in the course of this program. And then we shall equally be discussing CONAC, 44 billion francs CFA embezzled in 2021. In 2020, it was 175 billion francs CFA that was 17.5 billion that was embezzled. From 17.5 billion to 44 billion francs CFA, what is happening? Why is it that, of course, we are having this increase in the embezzlement of public funds, despite the efforts of the President of the Republic, His Excellency Paul Biya, to combat corruption? Well, as I said earlier, we have men of substance, and I'll begin with him. He is, of course, the national president of the Popular Action Party. We cannot talk politics today without talking the PAP. The national president is here. They call him Jean Denis Tabe. Jean Denis, we say good evening and welcome, Mr. President.
Good evening to you, Mr. Clarkson. Good evening to my fellow panelists. Good evening to all the millions of viewers of CamDish TV, members and sympathizers of PAP, and good evening to Cameroonians of good faith. It's my pleasure being here. It's not a new house for us. If I'm not here, I always have people who are here. So I want to use this opportunity to appreciate and congratulate the wonderful job you're doing to bring Cameroonians to conscientize the society and see how you could chip in your own little for the growth of the society and for the development of our country.
Is the PAP?
Wow, the PAP is waxing stronger and stronger. You can see from last week to this week, I have been having a lot of tight schedule because the demand of militants building up structures, be it at the sub-divisional level, divisional level, regional level, is becoming even more than what we can handle. I was in Douala. We recently installed the Bureau of the Littoral, and at the same time, the Bureau of Souza and Mutiko Mutengene, they are preparing. And there's a lot of work, especially with our alliances that we are creating with parties of the Grand North. So the PAP is really, in fact, I can say is really moving on the right track. And I just believe that, and I pray that God should give us the strength to be able to handle the multiple pressure that is on us as far as the party is concerned.
Will you people boycott elections?
We are working tirelessly, not only to stand in for election, but to counteract any undemocratic move that the regime in place under the CPDM they are trying to perpetrate. So we are on double standard, prepare the electoral ground, and at the same time trying to counteract any undemocratic action that will be taking place, that will want to be put in place by the regime in place. So we are leaving no stone unturned. I'm telling them that this time around they will have a very hard knock to crack because we are ready for them.
The national president of the PAP. Equally here we have a journalist, they call him Lambert. Lambert Kevin is here with us. Lambert, we say good evening and welcome to the Republican debate.
Good evening, Tabi. Good evening to all televiewers. It's always a pleasure. It's not the first time coming here, not the second. I've been here always. And I think that at the end of the day, after this program, something is going to happen because the talking is another thing and talking some sense is another thing. So we are ready to give to the public what they should know as far as information about Cameroon is concerned, and we are up to the task.
How is Kumbu?
Kumbu being what it is now, Kumbu is there, you know, in the northwest and southwest. I can say this war, I want to call it war always, because the ammunition that are being used now in Kumbu is that can be compared to Pakistan, Baghdad, and other areas that you know. Kumbu is there. People are trying to survive while the gunshots are on daily basis. Gunshots keep on upgrading. And they are there. People should be there. Everybody cannot escape from Kumbu. People should breathe the odds. Yes, if I'm here in Yaoundé for the past close to 3 years, it's because of the war that is on, meaning that it's not that easy. When it's above you, if you see any threshold that you can pass through, just give way to those who can stay and resist the guns.
We want to believe that peace will return, not only in Kumbu, but equally, of course, in the entire northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. We should not forget, we are a people, and Cameroon is one and indivisible. It's true that we have our own differences, our own shortcomings too, but then as sons and daughters of the same country, we really need to sit and dialogue. Equally, here with us on this platform this evening, we have the Vice Rector of the University of Yaoundé too, Professor Edmond Bilowa. Prof, we say good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Clarkson. Thank you for inviting me. Good evening to my fellow panelists.
How are you today?
Yeah, I'm doing fine.
How is the CPDM? We know that you are from the CPDM party.
Well, CPDM is doing fine. Last week we celebrated the 40th anniversary of Paul Biya in power. Yeah, so we are doing fine.
40 years in power, some are saying it's too much. What are you saying?
Well, it's the people of Cameroon who decided so. He has been continuously elected since 1982. So it is the will of the electors. It is the will of the Cameroonian people.
The will of the Cameroonian people. Once again, we say happy celebration to His Excellency, the President of the Republic, who actually clocked 40 at the helm of the state. It was on the 6th of November.
Celebrate achievement. They are celebrating.
It was, of course, on the 6th of November 2022. Well, we are talking the indomitable lions of Cameroon, our first topic of the day. But before we come back here, I would like us, with the collaboration of Ledoux Avom Alembe, to give us this image before we come back.
Monsieur le capitaine des Lions Indomptables, chers Lions Indomptables, au nom du président de la République, je vous remets ce drapeau de la République, emblème le plus significatif de la nation, pour que vous représentiez de manière honorable le Cameroun à la 22e édition de la Coupe du Monde de la FIFA Qatar 2022.
That was the Minister Samuel Vondo Ayolo handing over the flag to Vincent Aboubakar. What can we say is the symbolism behind this flag?
Well, it is a normal culture, a custom, when Cameroon is being represented in any aspect of whether be culture, sports, provided it is carrying, you are already the ambassadors. You are the ambassadors of the country because you are the eye of the country out of that country. So I think the symbolic nature of handing over the flag is a symbol that you know that the responsibility, the country is on your head. It's a way to tell you that you are not going, all Cameroonians, the blessings of the Cameroonian, the blessing from the head of state. I think that's the director of civil cabinet. I don't know if there is any constitutional disposition, because some people were still like, is it normal that, is it the director of civil cabinet who manages President Paul Biya's private affairs should be handing over the flag of the state, or the prime minister? So I don't know. Prof will be the one to enlighten us, because there were so many questions. I said, I don't know, because director of civil cabinet is like the private secretary of President Paul Biya. So we are doubting under what capacity will he be handing over.
Let's come to the symbol.
So no, I was just, you know, we also, that's why I said there were questions on that. I am not questioning any reason why it is the director of civil cabinet when the prime minister is there. And
can we have the topic on the lions on the screen? On the lions,
yes,
the topic
as
on the
I
screen.
said, as I said, the flag is very, very important. It is a symbol. It is an act of patriotism embedded in the minds of the actors who are going to represent Cameroon, so that they should have in the back of their mind that they are not going there to joke. The whole nation is behind them, and they are carrying the whole nation on their head. So I think that is a symbol of that flag. Now everything now is left for, if that flag has been handed, there are other things that will accompany the actors to be comfortable. Handing the flag is not enough. There are other parameters that also accompany the actors for them to defend their colors with all full force, be it administratively, be it financial, be it moral, be it whatever, that spiritual and psychological. There are many actors that accompany that. So I just like, I'm a Cameroonian and a fan to the Indomitable Lions. I just pray that...
Minister Vondo Ayolo said, when he was handing over the flag, he talked of representing the country honorably.
That is it.
What does that mean?
Of course, that's what that's just exactly what I am saying. When you are going to defend the flag of your country, are you going to do it in a dishonor manner? You have to do it honorably. And that's why I said, handing the flag also, which is a patriotic symbol and a responsibility on the actors, is not enough. They are the administrators now, or the government, or the technical staff, or whosoever that we are concerned about. Those actors also have their own role to play, to accompany them, defend that flag to the fullest. You are giving them the responsibility. They are very, very conscious, but there must be other accompanying factors also to, because there was one time that who is presently the Fcfa president, by then he was the captain of the national team, refused taking the flag because some factors did not accompany them to carry that flag. They complained of marriage bonuses, poor treatment, this and that, interference, and so on. So that's why I look at that. Thank God that if they are handing over that flag, those other parameters that accompany the flag should also be taken into consideration, so that they do their work very well. Now, I don't know if you are coming because we were talking about, because I thought you would start with the issue of the non-selection on Ghana.
No, we are coming to that. We are coming to that.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Lambert has the symbolism behind the ceremony of handing over the flag to the national team captain, Vincent Aboubakar.
In all the institutions where we found ourselves, there must be a leader. And Vincent Aboubakar is the leader of the participating lions that are going to Qatar. So I think it's very, very symbolic. It's a sign that it's a sign that at least at the end of the day, Cameroon is able to be represented. Because there were so many doubting Thomases who know that, or who were saying that Cameroon will not even attend the level of going to Qatar. And that is why I'm saying that they should not be surprised that at the end of the day, they come back with the World Cup. You remember, Cameroon is known for being a football country, and the football can be seen from the various things, although very, very, very limited, very, very, very limited, that Cameroon is being seen. Because when you want to go about, for those who follow football closely, you say the Champions League, the La Liga stuff, all the players of Cameroon Indomitable Lions are there. And it's a sign that Cameroon is everywhere as far as football is concerned. So it is a sign that we are going to show to the world that finally we can do it. And I'm expecting them to bring the cup.
You're expecting them to bring the cup?
Bring the cup, if at all there will be that...
No African team has ever played the semi-finals of the World Cup.
Cameroon is going to surprise those who are still doubting. And I believe, remember that there were people who even said Cameroon will not even attain the level of even going for the World Cup. Now they are there. Why should we keep on doubting? We know that they can do, and what I need from them is team spirit. Playing, you cannot play alone. Remember, it's part of 11 players. And if you are number 5, you don't want to think that they want to go on match on with the football and score.
I want us to focus a bit on the symbolism of the flag.
Yeah, the symbol is that Cameroon is a football country, and finally we have represented the World Cup.
Okay. Prof, the flag. When the flag is handed over to you, it means a lot.
Yeah, it means a lot. It means that you are representing the country. You are representing the nation. You are representing the state of Cameroon. It's a huge responsibility. So they are telling you, you have in your hands the fate of Cameroon. Don't joke with it. Take it seriously.
Don't joke with it, take it seriously. So do you think when they say they have to defend Cameroon, green, red, and yellow colors, honorably, what are expected of the Lions? To play the finals, to bring home the trophy?
Yeah, to play very well, not to tarnish the image of Cameroon. Yeah, because many people across the world think highly of Cameroon. So the president of the Cameroon Football Federation, Samuel Eto'o, said on national television that we are going to the World Cup to win. That was, I mean...
To win the trophy?
Yeah, to win the trophy. So it puts a lot of pressure on the players, right? It puts a lot of pressures on the player. You remember when France won the World Cup in Russia? The president of the French Federation said, it would be good if they could reach the semi-finals. Okay, their objective was to reach the semi-finals because he thought that the French team was not ready. Okay? So usually, many big teams go there, they think that, okay, if we are lucky, we may win, but they will be happy to reach the semi-finals. But France won. Okay, they won. Okay, they won the cup. So, whatever the case, having played soccer at a higher level, okay, he knows what he's talking about. And let's hope that Cameroon will represent Cameroon.
Can we say so far so good that Samuel Eto'o is a good manager when it comes to managing football? It's true that we are talking the non-selection of
Michael
Ngande. Many Cameroonians are very angry. What is your take on that?
No, I was very surprised that they did not select Michael Ngande. I was very surprised. Now, I don't know exactly what is going on because I'm not privy to what is going on in the team. But I would have expected Ngande to be selected because he has experience. He has experience. He has the size. He has the height. But I don't know. Why didn't they not select him? He played a lot in his team. Okay, he played a lot. He played all games that his team played. Okay, so I thought that he was physically fit. He was physically and mentally fit. I don't know why he was not selected. But now, looking at the way Eto'o is running the federation, he has improved a lot of things. Okay, now we have a championship, a level 1 championship. Many things are going on. So far, so good. So far, so good. He's being criticized on a number of things because many people don't see the distinction between the president of the federation and the head coach. And many people believe that those who were selected by Eto'o, by the president, and not by the head coach. Okay, those things happen only in Africa, because you don't see president of federations being involved in the running of the football team, in the day-to-day running of the football team. They are there to look for means for the team to be okay. Okay, but I think that Eto'o has very good ideas. He has very good ideas. But he should try as much as possible to leave the head coach do the job, and then he should concentrate on finding money, finding sponsors, bringing sponsors to Cameroon, so as to develop soccer in Cameroon.
Okay. President, the non-selection of Ngando, wanted to make mention of it a while ago, and said we were to come to it.
Yes.
What is your take on that?
Yes, I feel very, very disappointed, very devastated, like many millions of Cameroonians, because I will go with the same question. Why is he not selected? During the friendlies, they convoked some players. There are some key players that were not called.
Yeah, Zamboangisa, notably. Yeah, Zamboangisa Chupuanin.
And when the journalist asked the question, Rigobert says those are automatic leaders of the team. So there is no way. Their positions are already guaranteed in the team. So there is no need people on calling them. At least they want to give room for others. At that juncture, there were some polemics because I was asking. Almost all the big clubs are teams that I know are making preparatory matches with their full squad to get a playing style. I questioned that. From that onset, I started smelling something, some foul somewhere. I said, but this is not enough reason. When you look at the Brazilian squad, they are prepared. They play their friendly matches with their full 11 because the coach wants to know something. I was shocked.
With the collaboration of Lodu, can we have the list of the selected players of the Indomitable Lions? Their pictures, please. Lodu and Ebe. Yeah.
So I was shocked when he said they are already leaders of the team, so they don't need to. How would they integrate and become accustomed to the club? But some new information were already circulating somewhere. We call that little issues that were littering that the Samuel Eto'o, from his previous statement that he made when they drew, I think they won Burundi 1-0. In fact, it was heavily everywhere. It was social media where he was giving very hard words on the players and telling them openly that people don't have their permanent positions in this club. Yeah. Mean that he was taking that position already as the coach, because everybody said that in the dressing room it is the coach that talks to players like that, and not on the view of the cameras. So you saw him with a lot of authority, and the coaches were just behind him, pocketing his hand and giving that authority. So when the friendly matches came and some players were not selected to that match, everybody started pointing fingers that Eto'o could be responsible. But that now, following Rigobert Song's words, later, Rigobert Song came back and they asked when he was working on how to prepare his team to call up players for the World Cup. He gave his criteria. One, you must be very regular in your club, playing regularly in your club. You have to be fit and you have to be this. And when the list came out, you realize something. When he was about to grant a press conference after the match against Jamaica, you realize that I think he took more than 30 minutes because they waited for him. The journalists waited for him. He took more than 30 minutes just to come and grant that press conference because Rigobert Song let Cameroon that the list the final list of the will come out on the 18th. He made mention of the 18th. So we were shocked that the list came out at that particular day, and we
How
saw.
we can see the list on
Okay,
the
good.
screen. Yeah.
We saw the pressure when Rigobert Song came from at the press conference. The press team, the team press officer, told the journalists openly that they are going to read the list of the 26 lions that will be published and will be read now, but nobody should question. No question. After the reading of the list, they received no question. But means that there was something already fishy going on. I've never seen where you read the list of players and then journalists will not ask you questions. So they already preparing people's mind because they knew. Now, people judging from that, either the list was pressured on Song because Song himself never knew. He may mention that the list will be published, but not on that day. So it seems behind door there was something that was fishing going on. And when Rigobert Song came,
is the toe who made the list?
Anyway, for now, we should not blame those who are pointing fingers at Eto'o because Eto'o has already demonstrated that posture that he has authority to select and not to select based on his statement. So if judging by Eto'o's outing, that person has a plus, not has a plus and said he keep. He was talking with a lot of harsh tone. It meaning that if those who are pointing fingers at Eto'o have every reason, judging from that statement at the dressing room of Rigobert Song, and if you judge again from Rigobert Song's statement when he says Ngande and the others were not called are automatic leaders of the that's from the coach's mouth, and then coming again that same players who say they are leaders who are fit, and then the day that you are publishing the list, the journalist, the pre-team press officer warns journalists not to ask the coach any question. It means that there must be some fishy game around. And to conclude on that point, when Rigobert Song started reading the list, you realize that he himself, you know, when you farm out your list, you know your players. You see that at times there was some psychological pressure on him that to even pronounce two names. It came a time when we were just calling Unolu, Susubu, whatever kind of Aibu. He himself was just like, not really sure if he's the one that actually came out of that list. So I think Eto'o, I don't doubt he's competent. He's a footballer. He's a professional at that level. I think if we have not been in accordance with things like that, and then Eto'o, who he himself promised Cameroonian that is going to bring sanity, will take into himself, if at all Eto'o has a hand there, or is Rigobert Song, because every team, every in all countries, when a particular player that has been very, very key to the success, to the qualification of that team is not selected, the coach gives reason. When Ronaldinho was not selected one time, Dunga, who was the coach, gave a reason for that. Though I followed the one time that I think Eric Cantona, there have been many players that have been left out. Cantona, yes, and there have been many players, and the coach comes openly and said, yes, this person is not selected. But one time, Karim Benzema also was dropped, and DJ Deschamps took his time and explained. So if up to date, the technical staff, they are unable to tell us the reason for Ngandu Michael, with his non-selection, then it is very, very disappointed. That's a very big disappointment at the level of Eto'o.
A big disappointment equally, Lambert. Are you disappointed?
Yes, disappointed, although I'm still fan of Eto'o. He's doing a great job. For the fact that we are clapping hands behind him, I feel that he has started interfering in the affairs of the coach. The president of a federation is a president of a federation. A coach is a coach. It's just like you are the presenter of this program, the DJ himself, and technicians are there. You don't go in there and interfere when the technicians are about programming what they already know in the machines. Because they can do the undo when you're already on air. What I'm about to say is that maybe, as many people have been saying, Eto'o must have influenced the appointment of Rigobert Song as head coach. And rather than him being a technical advisor to him, not on camera, he has openly tell Cameroonians that I am more of a coach than the president of FECAFOOT, which is very wrong. Ngando not being selected is a very bad sign to me. Very, very bad, because he has influenced Cameroon qualification to go for the World Cup.
In all the qualification matches.
Why should he not be on the list? That is what we call the mean man. If you want to look at what he has been doing in his team, not in Cameroon, you just see that there is a game. There is a game that all of us sitting here cannot present. There is a game that we cannot tell. And if that is the case, then Eto'o and the coach should start thinking the other way around. Because it will not be normal that somebody qualifies you to be president of, for example, somebody qualifies you to be president of a development association in the village, and at the end of the day, he is not being seen appearing even as a floor member in the village meetings. It's very funny, and I don't think it's a normal thing.
And Mr. Tabi, to add to that, I just want to say something. If you look at it very well, even though I am not a technician, in terms of, I'm a footballer, I've been a footballer, I mean, like technician in terms of coaching, psychologically, I don't know any normal coach. There's a defender, because the defense is the most sensitive aspect of the team, where if you destabilize one, if A is used to playing with B and C, now that defense, they have been playing together with there's Otolo, there's Fai, then Ngando and Castelletto. Is it Castelletto? They are used to. Yes. You realize that during the friendly, Castelletto had a lot of difficulty to integrate with Nkulu. Because he has not, because there's that communication usually. So I don't know what song is written, even as a coach psychologically.
You want to take note that the first goal they conceived with Jamaica, it was that error. It was that defensive error that paved the way for Jamaica to score the first goal, which was very discouraging.
Onana, the goalkeeper, there's that communication force between goalkeeper, Gande. He's already used to his team. He knows how to place here. Kuluna is coming, and he is a central defender. Because they're taking Kulu.
Is Kulu is taking the place of Gande?
A central defender. The central defender is like the eye of the team because he sees everything. Now, their players have been working a lot with Gande, and they know how they function. And Castelletto, who is a young guy, maybe Gando, they have that communication with Gando, Tulo and Fai, they only wait Onana. Now, bringing a central defender who has never been with the club for quite a long time, how is he going to fit in psychologically? It's already a problem. So I don't know what Song was thinking, bringing in Kulu. On the contrary, I didn't think Kulu was even performant. I would have said, but there's no problem. Kulu, I don't even know his club. They say he plays in Greece. He does not.
He hasn't been playing very much.
He does not play very much.
I am not against him. He's a good player, but comparatively,
due to what's happening on the ground,
even says there are other good defenders that are even competitive that we are seeing them. Kulu age-wise is almost 30 something for football. Age-wise is only a veteran.
Yeah, yes, Paul. Paul wants to add something.
No, I think it's a very bad sign for Cameroon not to have Ngade.
And is the highest goal scorer, one of the highest goal scorers for the team as of now as a defender.
Ngade was good defensively, and he was also good offensively. Okay, because of his size, because of his physical impact on the game, right? It was influencing the game of Cameroon too much. Not to have him in our defense is a very big shortcoming. It's a very big shortcoming. Nkulu used to be a very good player, but he has aged. All right, he's no longer very young, and he doesn't play very often. Okay, so Nkulu could have been there as a backup. All right, with Michael Gade being there as the main man on the field, the main man on the field. But now, I don't know what is going to happen. I don't know what is going to happen.
That's a big blow on the back of
the Kulu mark Vinicius Junior, that boy that I'm seeing in Real Madrid. Can Kulu handle Neymar or Rodrigo? Those fast guys that can Kulu. Oh God!
So it is.
Ngando, one thing about him is that he was very smart. He is very smart.
If the
experience, that is it.
If the staff of Cameroon respects Cameroonian, they should provide some explanations. Because we were expecting. It is the least that they could do. Provide some explanations. You cannot just remove a guy like Gande and you don't tell us why he was removed.
That is it.
Okay? It means that they don't respect us. But that team is our team.
It's a national team.
It is not only their team, it is our team.
It's a national team.
It's a national team. So Cameroonians should be told why Michael Gade was not selected.
Cameroonians should be told why.
They are going to the World Cup.
Yeah. It's the World Cup.
To the himself should be asking himself, this is the World Cup that we are going. Who is the actor who really demonstrated his personal skill to divert that last-minute goal It's just that guy does. It was like an angel that got
he gave the decisive pass.
I mean, the decisive pass by diverting that ball on air before going to the feet of Toko. So just that action. You are keeping that guy. What is your conscience, Georgie?
At least
Gade had a big impact on the game.
He has the right to explain.
Gade had a big impact on the game.
You are saying
offensively and defensively.
Except
I am not sure that Nkulu can do the same thing now.
Except that there's an internal error that they don't want to tell us.
But they should tell us,
the spectators. But they should tell us, because yesterday late in the night I got a message, the social media being what it is, that something happened in the corridors. What was that? But I am not refusing. There could have been a diplomatic explanation of Ghana not featuring in the list.
I even learned that the plan was.
Let the coach even lie to the community that this is what happened.
Mr. Tabi,
rather stay quiet.
You know, this thing really disturbed many Cameroonians, and that's why I even learned that the plan was to sideline both Ngande and Zambo. That was the plan. But
that is
the
it.
performance of Zambo.
Very shocking.
They were afraid because the plan was to keep away Ngande and Zambo. That was the plan. But the way Zambo demonstrated with his club and Napoli, that even a nursery school child, is seeing him playing, and the way he's playing, if they're there, they said, okay, since this guy is playing in the Belgian league, he plays more, except we watch him on Europa League. Belgian league is not too much mediatized, except when he plays Europa, except we want to watch because his club is presently playing the Europa League. That's where you can watch him. He plays in Gen, or something like that, yes. But with Napoli is stopping the Italian league. And Zambo has been scoring goals, winning man of the match, and all the like. So those guys said, no, this one we can't try. This guy we can't try.
How convincing is the team of Cameroon? Do you think we can perform both?
No, first of all, the preparation was very. I didn't understand the preparation, because most of the big teams that we watched, they had the big players on the field, okay. And once in a while, they will remove one big player and try some new players. But we never saw our big players on the field. Never. So at this moment, we don't exactly know how this team is going to fare in the World Cup. Okay? Is it a strategy? Is it because they did not want to show the opponents how our team will look like? But it is very difficult to go to a competition when your main players haven't been playing together. It is very difficult. So, not being a football specialist, I don't understand, but I can ask questions.
Yes.
What kind of strategy is that? When you go to a competition, you don't allow your main players to have at least one game. At least one game together. They did not allow Gande, Choupo-Moting, Abubakar, Zambo, the guy Onana to play at least one game that we were to watch. They did not play even one game. So what kind of team we are going to have at the World Cup?
Says something very
that is my question.
This is another point, Tabi. Since we are diagnosing, it's our national team. We are diagnosing something here. Just look at, there's one guy, mentioned guy Onana, who plays in Bordeaux. I followed football. At the midfield. Everybody was shocked when there's one called Gaye Ondua. Many Cameroonians were asking, this guy Ondua plays in the second division and not even regular. Onana, who plays with Bordeaux, I think, Lance, something like Lance, and Ghana, one I call Ghana. I mean, we are watching them playing regularly. But we saw that those guys were kept aside. Forget about Gando. Let us talk even that owner, Jacques Onana. A very good midfielder playing for the same club, the Lance. Regular. And the club is somehow in the third position in the French league. It dropped to Gaye Ondua, who plays in the second division league, who is not even regular. They ask the song again. What is their choice? Going again to this guy that's called Fabrice Ondua. Let me tell you about goalkeeping. If a goalkeeper doesn't see that at the bench, then he has a concurrent, somebody that he feels that if I play, this man will take my position. He jokes. I'm not saying that Ondua would have come and taken over Onana. But Onana should feel that if I play in this goal post, if the day this guy come in, my position is. But now, Onana knows that is it Simon? There's one name, Bakapokoto, I cannot even mention the name, whatever, from where, I don't know. With the other guy, a passy, I don't know where he's playing. Get somebody that when Onana sees, in the days of Nkono, you hear Nkono, Bell, Songo. Anybody that plays, when you are coming, you hear of this. So you must see. Aliou Bukar, that is, you are afraid. You are on that goal like that. You said, you know nonsense. The least, Onana performed very well in his club at Inter. Because he was given the opportunity to take over from the main goalkeeper, and that's why you see him doing everything. You see him in Champions League, how he's performing, because he knows that I was even coming as a second choice. But now, let me prove, and he has won there. And now, if the Onana doesn't see any congratulations, whatever I do, I will still remain there. So there are so many questions, and then to maybe I'll come back to add to what process the preparation. I saw Brazil full 11 against Ghana. No, Neymar, Vinicius, as they are the team. So I asked, does it mean that Brazil wants to show their play style? I watched Korea. You saw Sinjun that.
The guy who plays in Tottenham.
Yes, he was there against Tottenham, against us. He played. The Senegal players, you see Sadio Mane, all their big stars, because the coach wants to come out with a strategy. But with our own, we were playing of God. Look at the entire.
Are you not sure of a good performance?
Look at the type of club.
Are you not sure? You
are going to face Brazil. You are going to play Switzerland. That even won Spain in their position.
Are going to play
you are going to play Serbia. If you know what, and you are going to play Bokistan. What was that club?
There is Switzerland.
No, you are preparing match.
Okay,
you are preparing Bokistan, Jamaica, Panama. I don't know. Oh God, may God help us. Well,
we are concluding on this topic.
We all wish Cameroon to do well. We wish Cameroon well. But we are very skeptical.
Yeah, very skeptical.
We said football should be handled by footballers.
Yes, Tabi.
How convincing are the Lions?
How convincing are they? Just like what the co-panelists are saying, it's exactly what I can say, because you want to understand that I expected the Cameroon and Jamaica match to be very, very offensive. I expected the 11 players to come on board to prove to Cameroonians and the fan club that we are ready to go and bring that trophy. The question marks are coming in because it was like, if some felt that it was still a testing match. No, you are not going for the World Cup and going for a test again. No, that was the last test. The last test ended somewhere, and this match between Jamaica and Cameroon was supposed to be the final of the finals, so that we know that we are going to be targeting this, and this. Not that we still do a trial type of thing, and they are going to the World Cup now. We are suspended. So I like somebody who has started loving football. I don't want to say I'm a football analyst or a fan of football. I started following football, like I told you, when it came to the realm of Feka food, and that's why. So what I'm saying is very clear. If they don't explain to us what is happening, well, God should do the undo.
President, tell us, is true that 2 local players have been selected?
No, I encourage. It's
a good thing.
Of course, it's a good thing to at least give the local players an opportunity. I don't have any problem. Like the guy of Cotton Sport, he has proven his worth at the level of the league. It's just that it's true that I only discovered him during the final, but I learned that during in the course of the competition, he has been doing a marvelous job. And then there's another guy from Colombia, what I don't know, but it's a good thing to give opportunity for. I mean, even 1990, the Steven Tatos, the Deep Akens were all home based. There was even Janka Biaka came from Anil, from and scored a wonderful goal. And in the so we have been having opportunities for young, home-based players that have been very, very performant. And I learned the guy just won a contract to play in the Orlando Pirates of South Africa, which is a very, South Africa league is a professional.
More professional than the Cameroonian.
No, I don't have any problem with selecting home-based players, but as all what we said here, all what we wish is that we wish them good luck.
Good luck to the Lions.
Of course. We want the Lions to win. We want the Lions to win. If the strategy put in place by the coach and the federation proves to be efficient, we will clap our hands and say congratulations. But if it turns out sour,
when we look at things,
we will decide. If the strategy turns out sour,
they will blame for it.
We will blame them for it.
We will blame for it.
When you are looking at things, are you optimistic?
I'm not very optimistic.
Mr. Tabi, one thing is about football. I made the point here that to give the flag is one thing. There are many things that accompany people for a competition. That's psychological and moral. Once Cameroon, just look at how the guys are going. Cameroonians are already disappointed.
That's it.
It's not good for the moral of the guys.
It's a World
the
Cup.
Guys themselves.
A World Cup.
I don't think those guys will be happy. It's just that they cannot demonstrate.
Not even players themselves. Should be asking themselves questions. They should be asking themselves questions because they were used to playing together.
They can't speak.
They were used to playing
They
together.
can't speak, but they are not
Castellotto, for one thing, must be very disappointed.
Yes,
because he was used to Ngando.
Ngando very well.
He was used to Ngando.
And Ngando was covering a lot on Castellotto.
Even the right back and the left back.
So
They should five Collins and Tolo. They should be.
There is that
they should be disappointed.
That supremacy of Kulu. He might want to come and prove that before you came and be in this club, seeing the day. So this type of supremacy to link with the young ones is not always easy. So that's why we're talking about psychologically. So the technical staff, I don't know. It's never too late. There was one time that the head of state intervened
in
on many occasions when you see that Cameroonians at this
in 1990, we quite remember it was the president of the republic
I think
maybe it's the right time for him to equally intervene in this case because
people said and he sold. I said no. I think if the presidency can intervene and say no, this is not good. This injustice to a fellow citizen that has rendered services to this country. We cannot unjustifiably keep him
as the prof was saying. The national team, the Indomitable Lions, they are the team, or is it the team of the people, not the team of
individuals.
Coach Eto or Rigobert Song.
The presidency can
explanation, I think, is something that the staff has to explain why.
The fact is that no explanation.
Why Michael Ngande has not been selected. All they say, we are all Republicans, especially we here at Camdis Television. We are behind the national team. We are behind the squad, and we wish them the best. It's true that we are playing our first game on the 24th, of course,
Against Switzerland.
Against Switzerland. On the 28th, we shall play the second game against Serbia. And the last game will be against Brazil. And I want to believe that before playing Brazil, that we should have qualified already.
Yes. The last game, the last game against Brazil should not be a game on which we are counting to be qualified.
There is no
so the two first games are very.
Take note. Let the team spirit exist.
Yes.
They should take what they have been doing to their various clubs to interact, maybe, and cover up the space of Ngando so that something can happen.
There is no easy team anyway at the World Cup.
No, we pray
we wish them well. We wish them
well. We wish them well.
They used to say impossible. It's not a Cameroonian. Impossible. Impossible n'est pas Camerounais. And we say thank you. Of course, we want to believe that the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon will perform brilliantly.
And I think it's almost taking a different perspective
at the World Cup.
Tendency. Many people are, if you look at what they are writing now on social media,
they have just selected players from a particular area.
Political area. People say you are bringing Basogo because from your area, giving Gando because from this other area. You see how you see how football.
There is no tribalism in football. And one moment in the team we had just people coming for a particular area. The Bassas were there. So we wish them the best. Cameroon is one and indivisible. We are all the sons and daughters of the Republic. If Ngade plays, it's Cameroon that is playing. If Basogo wins, it's Cameroon that is winning. We are now moving on to our second topic. Can we have it on the screen? We are talking CONAC. 44 billion francs CFA embezzled in 2021. The report of CONAC published on Thursday by Reverend Jodene Massingams made it clear that 44 billion were embezzled in 2021 as compared to 17.5 billion francs CFA embezzled in 2020. What is wrong, President? We have, despite efforts to combat corruption, we have the impression that people are still there embezzling. What is happening? What to do?
You are the one that is using that statement that despite effort in combating corruption. Who told you that there are efforts in combating corruption?
We have many structures now.
I'm happy you're using that statement. We have so many structures. Yeah. We have, is it ANI?
We have ANI.
we have CONAC, we have Consupe, we have
SS.
we have so many.
There are many
The question
structures.
comes back.
Yeah.
Why is the corruption rate keep on alarming? That's
Yeah.
the question.
Yeah.
And you say that there are efforts. It means that there have been no effort. If there have been an effort, let me tell you something. I have said this on many platforms and on many occasions. The regime in place is not ready to fight. Corruption is a tool that they use to maintain their power. I mean, from the head of state, if you want to fight corruption, you will fight it.
But
Well,
you send people to prison.
sending people to prison. That's why we are still coming. I am. Let us even put it. There's in 1996, there's an article called Article 66, Declaration of Assets. When you take office, you declare. It was not by magic that article is there. When you leave office, they know what is there. Till date, can you tell me why the head of state, the other decree has not been into function, implemented? Because it has been voted by the parliament for long. That is a clear. When you come, you declare your asset, everybody knows how many cars you have, how many land. As you are leaving, the same commission follows you up. When you talk about fighting corruption, look at even the so-called, those institutions that you put. Those institutions, their role is just to give a report. They are not being empowered. In Nigeria, we have what we call the SS, there's a Nigeria, the anti-corruption, the DSS, something like that, yes. They have been empowered. Once you are guilty of any corruption charges, they have been empowered to arrest. So they empower that institution in such a way that they have all the powers to take and carry out their investigation, their findings, and if they bring out that, and the commission brings out its findings, after thorough investigation with enough evidence, they have the powers to arrest. But with the Cameroon context,
With CONAC
and almost all the other institutions, their own is to see, investigate, and send the report to the presidency. The president can decide when to, who to, and how, who, and so forth. There are many reports that even you of the media, people carry out. I love what the media is doing. We have had ministers in this country that the media themselves carried a thorough investigation and investigated those ministers and came out with publications with enough evidence of the number, the wealth amassed, wealth that those ministers have amassed, embezzled in terms of buildings, everything, and they make all alarm. MPs make, but at the end, when the head of state says, when are they proof, the next minute, those same ministers that they are promoted. You are surprised, they are promoted to another ministerial, a heavier ministerial position that even controls more budget. They are promoted and they are still kept there.
Are you denying the fact that efforts
I am still coming now. No, that's why I'm saying that.
Yes.
That's why I'm saying that you cannot claim that you are putting in place effort to fight corruption, and at the same time, their actions are not in line with that, with fighting that corruption. Mr. Tapi, to round up, all those ministers that you hear today have been arrested and locked up. Those ministers, do you know when their corruption charges are hanging on them? Abba was when he was director of taxation. Meaning that during that period, no checks and balance was on him till the point where he was promoted to the Minister of Finance. So nobody checked him. And then later on, only for the government to discover that, no, you embezzled while you were director of taxation. So is that how they function? Marafa. He was promoted to the Minister of Territorial Administration, but later on they said no, he was charged of corruption when he was the Secretary General at the presidency. So during that period, the president, no information, no check, no follow up. So how do we are Cameroon and Mr. Tabi? It is our hard-earned money that is going. We have the right to speak. You are not hiding anything here. If you want to fight corruption, you fight it. If you give somebody a responsibility, and there's no proper follow up that you can play, you are the one who is responsible. In every area, if I'm given an opportunity that I appoint my ministers, because all this blame game in Japan and in Israel, if you are guilty of corruption charge, embezzlement, it's death penalty. They don't play there. Or you, that minister, there was a prime minister team was Japan. He was guilty of corruption charges. He resigned. I mean, his government, not even his government was guilty of corruption. He resigned because he has been unable to follow the government. So if we want to fight corruption, we can fight the corruption and empower the CONAC to carry out corruption and arrest cases immediately.
Okay.
Or apply the Article 66. Let's all hear.
Empower CONAC.
Yes.
Why are they depriving? Why is the head of state not?
Yes.
44 billion embezzled in 2021.
Every year.
Are you surprised?
Yes,
that
Tabi, I am not that
So
surprised
COVID
because take note, all these CONAC officials are being appointed by a certain degree. You expect somebody to bite the finger feeding the person. Is that what you're telling me? Remember when they are being appointed, what they do is they go for special, very special offertory, Thanksgiving masses. Why are you going for a Thanksgiving mass when you are appointed to take care of the country's wealth? It's a bad sign. It's a sign that you are already glad because what is going to enter your pocket is more than the appointment decree. So what I want to say is very clear that I am not sure even of the officials. I am not sure of the job they are carrying on because they are not carrying on what we call effective job. What they do is what they do is they do they are first of all glad with their pockets. If something is entering my pocket with a brown envelope, why should I then leave it to fall apart and I stay hungry? That's why CONAC will never in the history of Cameroon present a very clear report. We have done so many reports on embezzlement, corruption in one form or the other. At the end of the day, we are being tagged for using what we call raw language. We are being tagged for being against the state. When you are following, or when you want to investigate a minister, at one moment you are being told that no, not all truth are to be told. What truth? When you are piling money and when you have built up a small room in your house, you are packing money there. It is unheard of. It is people's money. It is my money. It is yours. Remember, they call it taxpayers' money. You contribute for in one way or the other for that money that somebody will take.
Should more powers be given to CONAC?
No, more powers should not be given to CONAC. Reason being that if the officials that are there cannot do the right thing, why not only creating another institution or other institution to fight against corruption, but rather doing the right thing. And doing the right thing is being a Cameroonian. We should have, because some Cameroonians are more Cameroonians than others. If I want to tell you so. Remember, you are in a point, you are I don't know, when they say it's a reverend that is leading that CONAC.
Yeah, Reverend Jeremy.
I don't want to define his reverency, but I want to doubt what he's doing there. Because he hasn't presented, since the CONAC was created, a very clear report that this is what happened in this particular ministry. This is where the money is. When we even do the investigation, do they even, after they want to lock up the individual that is claimed to be the embezzler, do they call us, the media people, to come present that this is what we have gotten, this is what we have taken of this man, this is what, to maybe you to compare and counteract the report of the CONAC? It is closed.
I don't think the problem is CONAC. The problem here is not CONAC. CONAC gives his report. The problem is CONAC is not rather empowered. CONAC gives report to the president.
Who are the officials of CONAC? They are being appointed by who? They should, if they want it to be.
Are you blaming now the CONAC or the president?
I am blaming the person that's appointing them and they themselves because they know that we are going in here, which is not the right place. Why not reject the appointment?
They are playing. You don't understand. They have played their role. Our problem here is they have given their report. If they have been empowered, that we are empowering you, that once you cast, you have reports of any embezzlement charges and you have evidence, like what happened in Nigeria, they have forgotten their own anti-corruption word. You are arrested, I think SSS, something like
and
that.
And after following up, those evidence, where do they go to?
They go to the presidency according to...
and it remains there.
That's why we are
Professor Edmond Bilowa, 44 billion francs embezzled. In 2020, it was 17.5. In 2021, 44. It's too much. It's on an increase.
Yes.
What is happening?
Well, apparently more people are embezzling more money, which is an indication that the measures put in place to fight the embezzlement of public funds or to fight corruptions are not working. So we need to, the state of Cameroon need to come up with new measures to make sure that less money is being embezzled from the state coffins. Okay, CONAC is doing a good job, but CONAC doesn't have the power to make sure that if a person X has embezzled a certain amount of money, that person can be brought to books. Okay, CONAC doesn't have that power. Okay, so the judiciary system should be forced to take over from CONAC, because CONAC is doing a marvelous job by saying, okay, this is where the money has disappeared.
this person, this structure has not paid taxes, and so on and so forth. So the judiciary, once the CONAC the CONAC Commission has made those statements, the judiciary should take over, and it should not be optional. Okay, it should be a compulsory thing. Okay, it should be compulsory. The judiciary must do it. All right. Similarly, when the audit bench, okay, produces the reports whereby some structures or some governmental departments are being accused of embezzlement of public funds, okay, or are being accused of abuse of power, the judiciary should do the job, okay? So the judiciary...
Then can we say government is making efforts to reduce corruption?
No. First of all, government is very vague. It's very, very vague, okay? Government, you have the legislative, you have the executive, and you have the judiciary. It is not the job of the executive to tell the judiciary what to do, okay? That is what is wrong with the system. The executive should not tell the judiciary what to do. The judiciary should be independent. So even if a member of the government, all right, the head of a department has embezzled money or is accused of corruption, the judiciary should do the job, instead of waiting for the executive to tell them what to do. That's the problem. That is the problem. That's the problem. CONAC is doing a good job, but the hands of CONAC are very short.
What to do then?
What to do is to force the judiciary to do the job. To force the judiciary to do the job. The judiciary has the capacity to say, given the CONAC's report, these people should be summoned to come and talk to the judge, right? If the explanations that they provide are not adequate, the judge has the capacity to send them to prison. And the judge has the capacity to seize their belongings, okay? Or to block their bank accounts. That is the job of the judiciary. You understand? Unless part of the power of the judiciary is also given to CONAC. But people in CONAC are not trained for that. They are not trained for that. They don't have that kind of background. Okay? You cannot just change CONAC into a judiciary system. It's impossible. So that's where the problem is.
From 17.5 to 44 billion in a space of some months, President is something. It's terrible.
That is the report of CONAC. I don't even want us to dive much at the level of the CONAC. We also, during the preparation for Cameroon to host the Nations Cup, I don't know how many times was that cup postponed because of Cameroon is unable to.
With the help of Mr. Mbida, I think we can have the images that we need here.
Because the stadia and other related infrastructure, sporting infrastructure, were not ready. 3 times it was pushed forward because it wasn't ready, not because the technicians or whatever they followed, because some people embezzled the money. And the head of state, President Paul Biya, had to do everything within his mind to make sure that Cameroon hosts the nation cup. Had to go take money from all sectors and all the like, just to come in, borrow from World Bank and other related financial international institutions to make sure that the nation comes. Some political actors like myself and others manifested that some people must be arrested for that. What happened? He himself turned a blind eye. He could not react. He himself saw everything, but he covered his eye. He could not act promptly. By now, he made a speech, I think that was last 2 years, that I was expecting that as of now, people will be arrested because he says the corruption, the fight against corruption will intensify. So when I said it's from the head, when the way he is looking at the corruption, when the head, I am not really in line that the executive, the head of state, has all what it takes if he wants to keep clean the system of corruption. But I want to believe that he uses that system of corruption to maintain himself in power, because he uses such a way that he clips the win of whosoever any of it, because most head of state is their closest collaborator that have been vying with their position. But now he sees all your tracks of corruption. You can't say anything. If you dare, he just open the file and say, this is it, take him and go. He will not be able. So I believe that if he wants to fight, okay, now people manifested the COVID-19, the embezzlement of COVID, 180 billion by the International Monetary Fund that was given to fight against COVID. If not of pressure from the IMF and other related financial institutions, that we cannot keep on, if you cannot give us an account of how that money was spent. Before now, the head of state now had to authorize the minister of justice to open an enquete and meet the judges and open up. Up to date, we have a sitting minister who is the closest collaborator of the head of state, who has refused categorically to go and answer corruption allegations, or no, not the allegations, to go and give some embezzlement charges on the management of COVID-19 fund. He has refused categorically, and actually everything has just been like that. And when others see, how do you see, you said we should be fighting corruption, when we look at all those parameters from the head, they themselves are the main perpetrators of like encouraging, because when you put in the back of your mind, there was one time that a minister was arrested, Bapes, the blessed memory, and order came from the presidency that he should not be. He
was still a minister in office.
In office, of course. Look, when you are charged of corruption, there's nothing like whether you are in office or whether you are not or whatever. Immediately, once it is evident, the head of state and I said, I did not ask the minister, because that way the judges come in. But when everything is centered at the level of the president himself, that's why I want to tell my brother that CONAC is doing a good job. CONAC is doing a good job.
And the hands are tight.
Yes, they are not empowered. If the head of state himself is serious to fight corruption, why are you blocking that for the implementation of Article 66 to be implemented, where people take office and declare their assets like it is done? Why is Cameroon always like that, as if they are on the planet on their own? We see things done very well in other countries. In our own country, it seems as if it is a mystery. Okay. What is the meaning of all this?
Yes, Lambert, you want to add something on this?
Yes, just like to corroborate what he's saying from my understanding, is like I earlier said, you don't bite the finger that is feeding you, reason being that their hands are tight. That is their report. And the president, if the president is reluctant to declare that this be done following a report from a particular ministry, meaning that there's something wrong somewhere, under the system that we used to talk about. The system is bad. The system is bad because sometimes I don't even want to blame the BI himself. I blame those who are surrounding him.
No, that's wrong assessment.
No, you don't dedicate, you don't appoint somebody to do a job as a minister of so and so, and you are not doing it. What is the job of a minister of finance? What is the job of a minister of this? If we are to put all the blames on the president of the republic,
because the laxity is the one that pushes people to do what.
That is why I'm saying that they are not giving him the right report because they want to fit themselves. They want to come and say that Mr. President is what I got. Meanwhile, it is the other report.
Mr. Tabu, if we continue with this type of mentality, Africa will go nowhere. Do you know what it means? You have a universal suffrage and you have been given that responsibility.
Then all those ministries should be dissolved.
Let me come. Who will dissolve them? Is it they want to dissolve or who to dissolve? I don't know if you are really saying certain things here. You know what you are really in line with. We are saying that the head in some countries, it is the prof said something here. The legislative, if the legislature was powerful, they don't give it down. They impeach him with the president. That corruption, you cannot allow your minister to embezzle this level of. There is what called a roadmap. Minister, the presidency has all structures even within the presidency. All type of advisors are in the presidency. They don't even need. If he wants whatever report to have, I want to follow up this project myself. I make sure that this project of road, you up to date. Do you know that the same road that President Paul Biya promised of Yaoundé, Autoroute, Douala Yaoundé, till date? I mean, if a president gives a promise to his fellow countrymen that I am implementing this, it came a time when they embezzle the money. Do I blame the minister? I blame the president because you have all what it takes to be updated on how that project is being done. If you allow it and the man eats the money, he did not appoint himself. Cameroon no be you. So he is the sole responsible personality if there is the
president cannot be everywhere.
No, he cannot. He cannot. That is why you have what they call the separation of power. and people are very lazy. People are very lazy. They are not doing their job. Okay? You have the legislative, you have the judiciary, and you have the executive. Okay? Even the press is considered a power in a democracy. Okay? So it is not the president that should tell a judge that money has been embezzled. Go and investigate on that embezzlement case. Okay? The judiciary system should be able to work by itself. All right? It should be able to work by itself. We are in a system whereby people think that they are not going to do anything unless the presidents order them to do it. No. No.
I just want to say, okay.
That's why the things are not working. Things are not working. Normally, in a system that works, okay, if a structure like CONAC says this structure hasn't paid taxes, okay, so this structure owes, it's an example, 200 millions of taxes to the Cameroonian government, okay? Any judge who reads that, be it in Douala, be it in Marwa, be it in Bafoussam, he's entitled to calling that structure and asking the structure to say why he didn't pay the taxes, okay? But we are in a system where those who are in charge of running the judiciary, they are not going to do anything. They are waiting for the executive to tell them. If they were to do it every time, the executive probably would be tired of telling them, don't do it, don't do it. But they don't do it. They don't do it.
So the blame goes to who?
The blame goes to those who are running the judiciary, okay? Not to the executive. But you see, Clarkson, you have to see what is going on elsewhere. Elsewhere, even in big democracies, you usually have tension between the executive and the judiciary. You remember when Donald Trump was president of the US, right? He sacks two attorney generals. Over there, the Minister of Justice is called the Attorney General. Because the Attorney General refused to do what he asked them to do. They said, no, it doesn't work that way. I don't get my instructions from the President of the Republic. I apply the law. All right? And you remember when Donald Trump lost the election, he asked the Attorney General, that is the Minister of Justice, to say that the election was rigged. The Attorney General refused. He said, no. There is no evidence that the election was rigged. We are in a system where the judiciary...
America is America. It's
no, people have to do their job. That's the problem. If you say that America is America. People have to do their job. If the judiciary don't do their jobs, if the parliaments, I mean the National Assembly, and the senators don't do their job, they should not blame it on the president. Because if they were doing their jobs, the president won't be able to do anything. Okay? It is because they have given so much leverage to the executive that those things are happening the way they are happening. Okay? When there are cases of embezzlement, there are cases of corruption, the judiciary doesn't have to wait for instruction to come from the minister. They don't have to wait for instruction to come from the prime minister. They don't have to wait for instruction to come from the president. They have to do the job. You remember one time here, the former minister of secondary education was arrested and sent to prison. Bapes. Okay? What happened to the lady who sent him to prison?
She was promoted.
Is she not the president of the special court, TSS? She's okay. So which is an indication that that woman did the job that she was supposed to do. Yes, people have to do the job that they are supposed to do. Okay? People said no, she should not have done it because it was a minister in function and so on, but she did it. Okay? It was true that Bapes was released after that.
But that woman was promoted. She was not sacked, right? She was not sacked.
Because she did her job.
She did her job. People have to do their job instead of saying that it is the president who is preventing them to do the job.
Everywhere.
The president cannot do anything.
Let me see.
Okay.
The president is not a magistrate, okay? The president is not a senator. The president is not an MP.
Mr. Professor,
Yes.
I don't know if I'm in the same country with you or we are in a different country. Maybe there's a different Cameroon that you know.
It
that
is
I
because
don't know.
you accept Cameroon the way it is.
No, we are
that
not
Cameroon is not
the
working.
system has been imposed.
We should not accept that system.
And then that's why that's why all of us are saying that they either call for a total overhaul of the institution, because that is the problem. Now what I was just emanating here about weak institutions where the people, and who also gives that, when they say I take over power office, I guarantee the constitution of this country. If you who says you guarantee the constitution of the country, you are unable to even implement the constitution that was voted by even the parliament, there is a problem. Two, we talk about the aspect where you said the magistrates to do their job. In fact, within the Cameroonian context, the way magistrates are first of all appointed, they are already in the hands of the whims. Contrary to other countries where there's a council of judges and the Senate gives its own proposal and so on, empower the Senate. I think the Senate is the one that votes the president of the Supreme Court. But yeah, in other countries, so that to limit, they are the ones that come up with the proposal and come up with the Supreme Court. And then what happened? They only send the name to the president validates to reduce that influence. But within the Cameroonian context, the president probably is the chief of magistrate. He's the one that appoints and dismisses with his own discretion. He can decide to. It is true that he can call a judicial council. They give proposals, but that's within the discretion. The judicial council can give proposals and say no. The A will take this position, B will take this one, and so forth. So at that juncture, and then the head of the legal department, called the procureur, is the minister of justice. Meaning that for procureur to implement it, because he's under all procureur are under the Ministry of Justice. All, because he's the one that competent. So automatically, by virtue of how the institutions are put in place, it has really fragilized the judiciary. There was one time that a director of Paul was arrested. Director of Paul, I saw him, was arrested. No, he was to be arrested for embezzlement or whatever. And order came from the presidency that nobody should don't dare. The procureur of the Douala Appeal, or no, the Court of First Instance, order came from the presidency that he should withdraw any attempt of arrest on the director of Paul. They had the evidence why they wanted. You are talking about the judges should do their job. They wanted to do their job. They have seen something. There was one time that one lady was I think taxation lady doing this taxation was arrested that they went to one director of a major house, and the man gave them money for them to cover his taxes, his tax evasion. I mean that the man gave the lady money, and the lady now covered the aspect to cover that notion that he should not be paying tax. Not knowing that the man will use that as a factor to finally implicate her. And every evidence will prove that that lady was guilty of collecting money from that the director of that major house.
But that's corruption.
No, that is it. They just played his role and sent the lady to prison.
Yeah.
That you should.
But the judge should have arrested the media man as well.
No, that's another story on its own now.
No.
Because
You see,
you have encouraged that man to.
When you have a case of corruption, you have the person who corrupts. He's guilty as well as the person who
I was just coming because
he's guilty as well as the person who is corrupted.
They are not doing their role.
The man who gave the money should have been arrested as well.
Now the question now is that's where you and I are saying one and the same thing, because we know the proximity between the man and the executive. So strong balance of the executive. So the lady now realized that you cannot be a taxation officer and at the same time encouraging tax evasion. So he arrested the lady and locked the lady up. Order came again from the presidency that lady should be.
Is it from the presidency?
From the presidency.
It could have come from a minister, you know.
What I am saying that we are all saying one and the same thing. I think if corruption wants to really be implemented, let the institutions that are in charge of fighting the corruption.
Let me say something very fast.
So that no interference.
We still have 4 minutes.
Part of what Dennis Tabe is saying is true. Part of it is true. But what I'm saying is that we Africans, we need to get to a point where we must walk according to our conscience. Okay? It is not because somebody has appointed you that you are his slave. Huh? We need to, and unfortunately, people always make that mistake. Somebody has appointed me, and therefore I must obey him, even if he violates the law. Donald Trump appointed many federal judges, right? When he was contesting Joe Biden's win, many of the federal judges that Donald Trump appointed voted against him. They told him that there was no evidence that the election was rigged. It is because we Africans, we are always like that. We don't work according to our conscience. Okay? We are so weak when it comes to money. We are so weak when it comes to power. Dennis and I, we are saying probably the same thing, because some of the things that he says are true, unfortunately. But they are also true in big democracies. They are also true in big democracies.
So what should be done?
No. What should be done is that those the powers that be them in the judiciary, be them in the executive, be them in the legislative bodies, they should work according to their conscience. And they should follow and apply the rules and regulations of the country. Okay? They should not work according to the whims of the power that be. We are not going to make any progress if we keep on thinking like that. We are not going to make any progress.
Your last word before we go, Lambert.
Thank you very much, Tabi. While wishing the Lions the best in their World Cup competition, I would like to say, just like what Prof is saying, it is very technical. Work with conscience. Meaning that, for the fact that you have been appointed by the president does not mean that you should respect to the president because he's a little bit relaxed to a fault. You should not take that advantage of his relaxity and then you are doing the wrong thing and thinking that, let me do it as a Cameroonian. Who is a Cameroonian? All of us, we are Cameroonian. Why not bring in a new version so that maybe it's a good version, people can follow it up? That's what I think.
We say thank you for coming, Lambert.
You're welcome.
President Jean Denis Taber, a last word before we go.
Well, we have all said, I think we are all vying for strong institutions, and that is part of the policy and objective of the PAP, where we need the strong institutions and not strong men. I think if Africa is where it is today, is because strong men, they have override the institutions. But if institutions are stronger than the men, we will realize that everybody will dance according to the institution and will make Africa a paradise on earth.
Are you confirming that PAP will go in for elections?
We are going in for election full swing. Whether it is being anticipated or the due time, we are ready at any moment, at any time.
Thank you for coming, President.
You're welcome. Thank you, Mr.
Prof, a last word before we go.
Well, we wish the Lions well. We hope they will honor Cameroon. We count on them to have a very good show in Qatar.
We say thank you for coming. We, at the level of Camdis, we equally wish the Lions the best. We want to believe that they will perform brilliantly. As to what concerns the World Cup in Qatar, it's true that in 1990, Cameroon played the quarterfinals of the competition with an opening game in Milan on the 8th of June that saw Cameroon winning the Argentina of the late Diego Armando Maradona by 1-0, a header from Francois Omam Biyik. We want to live again such moments, happy moments, with the squad of Rigobert's song at the World Cup in Qatar 2022. We wish them the best. Why not call again? There is still that possibility of calling again Michael Gandhi. There is still that possibility for him to go again at the World Cup. It's a clarion call that we are making, equally the call of the people, a Republican call. We say thank you for watching the program, The Republican Debate on Camdis Television. Take another appointment, same time next week on the same channel. Till then, we wish you the best And may the Almighty God continue to bless the Republic.